today, between them, have never, ever lost an FA Cup tie. Granted, only one of them have played, but that's not the point. Jason Cundy, Abby McCarthy and Savage Dan join me. Jace, you are obviously always going to be carrying the can for that one, mate. But it's been let's talk about today. It's been a testing week for football. It's been a testing couple of weeks for football. Obviously, the increase in positive tests. We are first quite lucky this game is going ahead. But secondly, I suppose most importantly, now the game is going ahead, it's an opportunity to really kickstart something.
Yes, it is. We had, let's be honest, a disappointing end to 2020, which overall I thought was a pretty positive year. And we go into a new year on the back of some different results, and we haven't started particularly well. But today's game gives us an opportunity to push all that league form and everything else behind us and take advantage of what's been a pretty generous tie. We tend to get these in the early parts, it feels anyway. I'm not taking Morecambe for granted. This is a side that have had no games since Boxing Day. They've scored, I believe, in the last 17 games in every game. So that gives you some idea about how they are going forward. Defensively, they can be got at. But let's take this for what it is. It's an FA Cup tie at home against opposition that we should be beating and start the year on a positive foot.
Dan, Chelsea are perennial winners of this competition. We won it 8 times. Obviously, last year was a disappointment to lose in the final. Frank will want to put that to bed this year with a cup run. So beginning it in the right manner is going to be important today.
Yeah, I expect to put Morecambe to the sword, to be fair. I feel like no matter what team we put out, we'll have too much for them. And, it's a good way for Frank to set his stall out. We've got Morecambe today, a League Two opposition that we should be beating. And we'll want to get a good performance and some momentum because I feel like, as Jay said, it wasn't a great end to last year, but we can pick that up and get the confidence back this week.
Abby, fans love this competition. We love this competition because we like the magic. We like the team from a lower league taking on the big boys. Coming to a venue that they've not played before, coming to a Premier League ground. However, we're all also hoping for no sort of magic from kickoff today. Very much hoping that stays until 5 o'clock later this afternoon, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. We're hoping the underdogs, enjoy their time at Stamford Bridge, but don't put any goals past us and that we put in a really good performance as a team. The FA Cup is still pretty magic, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to today.
Absolutely. I've loved third round weekend so far. Still plenty of big ties. Obviously, we'll come on to those a little bit later on. But first, let's talk about our predictions for today. You know what to do. Get to Play Predictor on the Fifth Stand app. Get your scores in for today for your chance to win a £500 Megastore voucher and a signed merchandise bundle as well. This is what we've gone for. I've gone for a 4-0 Chelsea win. Jason has gone for a 4-1 Chelsea win. Dan has gone 3-0. Abby has gone 4-0. Jace, I'll start with you, mate. 4-1 today. I suppose the one is in remnants of the stat you've already said about them scoring quite regularly this season.
Yeah, they do. They score goals, and they're dangerous from set pieces. I've done a little bit of homework, and it's difficult when you're playing against a side from League Two, but they are a side that can cause problems from set pieces. They have scored in the last 17 games. They do concede as well, though. So I expect this to be a tougher game in the early part. We're going to make changes. That's inevitable. They haven't had a game since Boxing Day. They should be fresh. And this is an opportunity for them to come and express themselves. No pressure on them whatsoever. Come and enjoy. I was watching when they turned out on the pitch. They had a walk around about half an hour ago, and they were walking around all taking videos and pictures. There was a big group shot of them as well. And this is a day out for them. But you know what? When the whistle goes and they get beyond that white line, they're professional footballers that want to come in and put a performance. And there will be a Chelsea side there. They'll believe that they can perhaps cause 1 or 2 problems. It's not going to be our strongest side. And why not? Because that's what football's all about. But I expect us overall the 90 minutes to have too much for them.
Abby, the only time we played lower league opposition so far this season was obviously the Carabao Cup game at the start of September. I think it was against Barnsley. We won 6-0. Is that why you've gone for a comfortable Chelsea win today with that in mind?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's along the same lines. It's a chance for us to really show what we can do, put some goals in and, really get back to form and really start the year off in a good way.
Dan, 3-0 from you today says it's going to be comfortable, but I think we've seen enough football over the years and over this FA Cup weekend so far to know that the scoreline doesn't always reflect the outcome of the game, does it?
No, and to be fair, that was me being quite reserved. I feel like we'll have way too much for Morecambe. We're at home, which means, if this was an away fixture for us, I would have given them a goal just because, playing on those pitches and wobbly surfaces they're coming to. So I feel like we'll play quite comfortably, and just be completely too much for them.
Absolutely, mate. I completely agree. It brings us nicely actually on to hot topic one for today, which is importance of the FA Cup. It's, as we say, that the magic surrounds it, that the whole feel about the FA Cup third round weekend is something special. It's something that you always look at in the FA Cup calendar. Having a little flick back, obviously Chelsea got an impressive record in the FA Cup over the last, 30, 40 years even, to the extent that we haven't lost a third round tie since 1998. Now it's against Manchester United. Haven't been beaten by lower league opposition in the third round since 1991. Jay, this is a competition that we do well in, and as we've already mentioned, Frank will want to put last season's final loss to bed, and the best way of doing that is by starting this season on the right foot and getting a good result today.
Yeah, I think this game there's different parts to this game for me. Yes, one, it's the FA Cup, and you're right about that, about Frank wanting to kind of make amends, or certainly put us on a path to get to another FA Cup final. But I think more importantly than that is get a win, and a good win, going in against Fulham and then Leicester. I think that's really what this game is all about, because there's been a lot of talk in the press about Apple in December, and let's be honest, it's not been great, as we've already alluded to. So it's a chance for us really to kind of push all that to one side. Different competition, younger squad, to see some of the players that we have been looking forward to seeing in the first team, plus some of the fringe players that want to get themselves into that first team. So there's a number of things about this game, and I just want to see a good performance, deal with it comfortably, professionally, and move on to Fulham on Friday.
Abby, as fans, this is such an important competition. You know, you see people from all over the world that tune in for FA Cup games because of the tradition, because of the history behind it. And you know, as I said, Chelsea won it 8 times. They win it serially. You know, they are properly going deep into the competition. But we can't look past today, because it is an FA Cup tie, and we all know what can happen in FA Cup ties.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things. It can go either way. There can be some surprises. I mean, I know Derby lost their game the other day, and that surprised me. These things can happen. So yeah, we shouldn't be sort of too relaxed about today, but at the same time, we should be confident. We're going to be way too much for Morecambe. But I think, yeah, we have such an amazing history with the FA Cup. Maybe this could be our year once again. You know, who knows? I definitely feel like there's some unfinished business from last year that I would like to put to bed, please.
I was here for Bradford, okay? I was here for Bradford. And I know it was the 4th round, but I remember that game so well. And it still hurts. I can tell you it still hurts.
Yeah.
I'd glossed over that nicely, Jay. I wasn't going to mention that, so nice one for bringing it up.
I'll be honest to bring it up.
Yeah, nice. I'm going to counteract that by saying that during his entire playing or managerial career, Frank Lampard has never lost a third round tie. So there you go. We're about level again, I think, now. But Dan, this is an important competition, but it's also the fact that, you know, we come so close to winning it last year. Frank is still on the hunt for his first domestic or trophy in management. You know, that the Premier League looks like it might be a little bit beyond Chelsea at the moment this season. The Champions League got a very tough draw at Atletico Madrid. This is a good opportunity to get that first piece of silverware in the cabinet.
Yeah, and we hoped that we would have got it last year. I can't wait for Frank to get his first managerial bit of silverware. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what's going to stand him in good stead going forward as a manager. But yeah, it's an opportunity to get some silverware and to have a real run at it, and to get some momentum behind this cup run, because I feel like the FA Cup is still the biggest cup in domestic football worldwide. It's a huge cup. It doesn't feel like it sometimes till we get to the quarters, semis and finals, but it is a huge competition. And and we do very well in it. We've got a good history, definitely a good recent history of doing well in it. So it will be very good for Frank to get the win.
Jace, I've fallen victim to it over the last couple of years. About you get sidetracked by the glamour of the Champions League. You know, you think about all the away trips. You know, you play Barcelona at the Nou Camp, you go to the Bernabeu and play Real Madrid or whatever, Bayern Munich at the Allianz. But I tell you what one of the most special, but then also most disappointing days was when we were at Wembley for the FA Cup final this year, because you know it felt like that was the underline to what was a brilliant season for Frank Lampard. Everything was lined up, and then to not win the game was gutting, and it almost hit home then that you go, this is still such an important, even with no fans there, it was still such a big day, and you could feel the buzz around the stadium. It's one of those competitions that, like Dan said, perhaps it doesn't feel real until you get deeper into the competition, but that is also an elitist mentality that only the big teams can kind of fall victim to. So today is about narratives, it's about story, but it's also about getting into those next rounds and making it feel real again, I suppose.
100%. And look, we all know that the emergence since 1992 of the Champions League, it's a brilliant product. The emergence of the Premier League since 1992, it's a brilliant product. And unfortunately, and the reality is, it's no longer considered, because of the financial rewards, it's no longer considered an elite competition. The Champions League and Premier League are way above anything else. Next in line, and prestigiously, and the older fans of this will know exactly what we're talking about, it's an FA Cup, and it matters, and it means so much, not just to us fans, but also it should and must mean a lot to these players as well. So I'm not underestimating it one little bit today, no.
Let's find out who has been selected by Frank Lampard, because Ben Andrews joins us from Stamford Bridge. Ben, good afternoon, mate. Are you well?
Good afternoon, all. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, mate. All good. Well, I'll tell you what, fire away. Talk us through the team news.
6 changes, no mucking about from Mr. Lampard today, and I, for one, am a very happy fan about that. The changes are, well, half a team, but 5 internationals and 1 Billy Gilmour coming in. So Kerr gets a go in goal, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Zuma and Emerson at left back, Billy Gilmour in midfield with Mason Mount and Kai Havertz, and the front 3, Callum on one side, Ziyech on the other, and Timo Werner in the middle, who could do with a goal, as we know, none in 12. I presume you're probably all very pleased, or maybe you wanted to see some more youth involved. The only youth incidentally involved, even though some have been training this week, is Tino Angerin on the bench. I'm not including Billy Gilmour, you know what I mean, the even younger ones that have been training. So that is that, and I think it's good news.
Absolutely, mate. Well, I suppose that the question, because we were all anticipating in the build-up, like you said, some of the younger players have been training with the first team. Perhaps we anticipated seeing them, but the way that Frank Lampard has set up today, Ben, shows that he's not taking Morecambe for granted at all.
Well, there's that, and there's also the fact that the run we're on, if we'd won 6 in a row, no doubt you'd see a different looking team today. But I mean, it's 1 win in 7. It's 4 defeats in the last 6. And in those 6 winless games, only 5 goals scored. So that is a totally different narrative, to use a word you've just used there. You saw Liverpool on Friday night. They've been goal shy recently. Mane and Salah got 3 goals between them. I was at Bristol Rovers yesterday, where Chris Wilder picked a completely full strength team because his side, his club, needed a win. There is something for momentum going here. And on top of that, given if you think about the schedule we've had recently, this is Sunday Man City to Sunday Morecambe to Friday night Fulham. It's not like it's 3 games in 6 days. It's 3 games in 2 weeks. So it's got that going for it too. And so what benefits can you have going forward? The answer is, if we get what we hope we will get today, Timo Werner gets a couple of goals, maybe Kai Havertz discovers his mojo again. I'm completely with this selection and very, very pleased he's gone for it.
Oh, Ben, exactly what you're saying is our hot topic too for today, which is who are you excited about seeing? And Dan, I suppose the 2 things that Ben has underlined there in terms of Kai Havertz and Timo Werner, both, have taken to the club very well. But I suppose in terms of performances for their own sort of levels that they've set in the past, they would like a good performance today. A goal for Timo Werner would be great. A goal for Kai Havertz would be great.
Yeah, or an assist for Kai Havertz. Timo Werner needs a goal. I feel like today is the perfect opportunity to put in a good performance, play down the middle, of course, because he hasn't done that too many times this season. And for Kai Havertz to get in that 10 position and to pull some strings, that will also do everyone the world of good, just individually for their own confidence and for the team's momentum.
Abby, I suppose as well that the fact that Callum Hudson-Odoi and Billy Gilmour are both going to play today, which is a huge thing, and Chelsea fans will be buzzing about that.
Yeah, absolutely. You should see the comments in the app for Billy Gilmour, as always, just showering him with love. I think Hudson-Odoi has been on great form recently as well, so really happy to see that rewarded. I'm really happy, actually, with the team that we're putting out. I think it's good to not be messing around and really get into the swing of things.
Jace, it's a real welcome to the FA Cup for Morecambe as well. You know, they haven't played since Boxing Day due to the COVID outbreak in their team. Thankfully, they seem to be in good health and good fitness and returning to training this week. But they've gone from playing, I think it was Grimsby on Boxing Day to Hakim Ziyech and Timo Werner playing up front against them today. So it's a big test for them today.
Yeah, and I think in some ways they probably wanted it like that. I mean, you know, you can imagine maybe there's a little bit of disappointment. We saw yesterday what happened with Chorley against Derby. You know, Wayne Rooney didn't turn up. Their squad is self-isolating. They're turning up at Stamford Bridge today and they're getting the real deal. If that team there played in the I don't know, in a Premier League game or a Champions League game, it wouldn't be out of position at all. So. To put in a good performance, because that is a very, very strong team.
Ben, like Jason was saying there, if that team lines up against Fulham on Friday, no one really bats an eyelid, because like you said, they're all full internationals that have come in, and Billy Gilmour, which we know how good Billy can be. So Jason.
Oh, I've just lost you.
Yeah, I think
you've just frozen, Joe.
I think we all have. I think.
It's an interesting facial expression. He's frozen.
Go on then. Okay, Ben, go on then. Answer the question.
I'm going to talk anyway because I like
Ben,
talking.
Talk.
I was just going to say, you know, it's just good management as far as I see it. I mean, did Ben Chilwell need to play today? No. Did Thiago Silva need to play today? No. Did Ziyech? Yes. Because he's done his hammy against Leeds. He's come back. He had a quiet game in difficult surroundings against Manchester City. Timo Werner, he went 8 goals in 7 games and then has gone none in 12 since. They did need to play, so they are playing. Callum, you can see that one. Mason Mount, you need. N'Golo Kanté wasn't an option anyway. Remember, he's got a slight hammy issue and he's going to be suspended for Fulham anyway. I think he's gone with the right side. You might have said, could Mendy have done with a game, just given that he hasn't been quite on it in the last few weeks, maybe, but also, you know, you want your other guys to have a go as well. So I don't think there'll be many complaints about this Chelsea selection at all. And in terms of what you need going forward, what use is it for the Fulham game if, you know, someone else scored the goal? So did Olivier Giroud need to come in and score a couple for his confidence today going into Fulham, for instance? No. Timo Werner does, and so he plays. And of course, it might not work out that way. Morecambe, you know, they are League Two, but they won 4 in a row coming into this before their enforced hiatus. So, you know, we hope and think it should be a comfortable victory, and hopefully some people get their mojo back. So it's going to be good, isn't it?
Of all the players out there now, me personally, I'm looking forward to seeing Billy Gilmour. I've seen everyone else, but Billy has had his injuries and we haven't seen what we kind of hope because of those injuries, Dan. But we saw what he's done in the FA Cup last year out here against Liverpool, and he was probably, Dan, the player of the match.
Yeah, I would say he was the strongest player on that. He ran rings around Fabinho, and Fabinho is a world-class midfielder. So yeah, Billy Gilmour, you know, he's just got all the talent in the world. The one I was most surprised to see, but at the same time not surprised to see on that team sheet, was Mason Mount. Just because he's racked up some serious mileage this season already, and this year already. And
they got young legs, Dan. He's
just, when I spoke to him earlier in the week, and he was like, you know, sometimes having breaks hinders him more than it helps him. You know, he wants to keep the rhythm and wants to keep playing. So I was half surprised, because if you are going to rest a player, you're going to rest one with that's played quite a lot of minutes this season. But back in the team he goes, because he's just that important.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, Emerson, the link-up play down the flanks, of course, with the fullbacks is so important. Ben, you and I have spoken about that, about the relationship that we've seen, and it's a chance for those fullbacks now to build that relationship again and on different sides.
Yeah, Azpilicueta and Ziyech, you think that could work really nicely. 2 clever footballers. Aspie knows when to go, when to stay. Ziyech likes to come in on his left. That's perfect for Aspie to go on the outside of him. Emerson doesn't make a lot of mistakes, does he? To be fair, I mean, Lamella's goal in the defeat in September at Tottenham, you could probably lay his door. He switched off a bit and was watching the ball, but that's no bad thing. He's a regular international left back, or at least has been. Him and Hudson-Odoi there, you've got to help each other out. We did see, remember, Reece James not getting a lot of help at Arsenal from Pulisic. Certainly in that first half, which is probably why Kieran Tierney looked so good. It's a very important relationship, wide man and full back, especially in this formation. I'm with you on Billy Gilmour, incidentally. He was so good in those last 2 games before lockdown, the last 2 games we had with fans, the 2 halves of Merseyside, wasn't it? Everton in the league and just before it, Liverpool in the cup. He was the best player on the pitch in both of them. Yeah, and then he played Palace, and that was it. 7th of July, he played Palace, and then he had to have his operation. So we all know he looks good, but more importantly than what we think, Frank clearly really, really rates him. You can see he brings him on, not just in moments where they're 2 and 3 goals to the good. I don't know what you think, Dan, but it seems to me that he really thinks he's the business and wants to give him any opportunity he can.
I think he obviously sees a lot more of Billy than most of us do, because he sees him on a training pitch every day. And, from what I've heard, he trains very well. And that is part of how you're going to the game. And obviously your ability and how you put yourself about. And Billy Gilmour seems to tick every box. He's small, but he's got a lot of fire in his belly. He's tenacious. He's brilliant on the ball, makes good decisions. So I can 100% understand why Frank Lampard likes him so much and why he trusts him so much to put him in, even when the game's pretty tough.
Abby, say something. They're dropping like flies here, dropping like Liverpool defenders. It's absolutely shocking.
I was in a minute,
I'll be me on my own, talking to myself.
I was going to ask Abby actually about a clean sheet today. I think that's important for us, because we haven't. They seem to have dried up. We went through that period, didn't we, when we were keeping regular clean sheets, and they've really dried up of late. Today, I think, is really
7 in the last 8, by the way. Conceded in 7 of the last 8 matches.
Because we obviously went on that unbeaten run, didn't we? Was it 17 games? And a lot of those were clean sheets, and we seemed in really good form. We've obviously had a bit of a dip in form recently, which is because we haven't been quite as clinical in the final third as we needed to be, but also because, we haven't kept clean sheets. So a clean sheet today is super important. I just wanted to share a stat that I read this week that Timo Werner has hit the woodwork 5 times this season so far, which is the most out of anybody in the Premier League. So he's literally just a sniff away from his amount of goals actually turning into something quite special. So I would love him to knock in a few today, just to really build up his confidence,
Okay, so that's it for us now. Let's have a look at what Frank Lampard said ahead of today's game in the press conference.
Look, with Kepa, he's only played, I think, 4 matches for you this season. He's an international goalkeeper. Look, the window is open. Do you still see his future very much as a Chelsea player, or is this perhaps an opportunity that might suit both the club and him if he were to go elsewhere?
Well, at the moment he's our player, and I think the situation is clear. Edu's come in. He's been playing pretty much regularly as a number 1 in for us, and I think with Kepa, when he has come in the latter Champions League game and did well, he's trained really well. And his attitude around the place has been brilliant. So I won't be drawn on that one at the moment. He's our player. We'll see how January goes, but I certainly don't want to be alluding to what might or might not be.
With the new strain of COVID around, I gather the Premier League has written to all clubs with a sort of updated protocol. Among the things that are coming in, more powers for the Premier League compliance officer, 3 coaches being used to transport players to matches instead of 2. All substitutes on the bench have to wear face masks, and they'd like to limit further the number of people on site at training grounds. Do you welcome that or not?
No, I certainly welcome the thought process, because we're in a different situation again, and anything that is taken any measures taken for health and safety, we have to take very seriously, and we do. I think as do all Premier League clubs. There's always a balance. Every training ground looks different. It's important that the Premier League come down and interact at those training grounds to see the facilities, to see how it's been run. And I think if there's a rule for one, it pretty much should be for everybody to keep fairness. But yeah, things like the things that you've just mentioned, I think are just things that we have to take care with at the moment, and we'll do it as we're told by the Premier League, and we also have responsibility ourselves to do it as well as we can for the players and staff that are clearly in a what is an official lockdown, are still coming to work daily and going home to their families. So we have to do everything right.
Last one, Ian, please.
The latest Premier League figures show 40 positive tests over 2 sets of testing. Were there any positive tests at Chelsea? And do you have any safety concerns about playing Morecambe, who until just a few days ago had their whole squad in isolation?
Yeah, not just about playing Morecambe. I'm not going to talk about them necessarily, but I do have concerns because of the current climate. We have had some positives. We haven't had any players positive in the last couple of rounds. We have had small numbers of staff, which because we've been testing so regularly all the time here, I have to say our medical team have been fantastic. Over and beyond what the Premier League are laying down, we test, we take people out, we don't take any risks with anybody, and I think that's only right. Of course, whilst the country is in lockdown for a reason, whilst football carries on, it means there's a lot of mixing going on, that the country is in lockdown for a reason, as I'll repeat. So it's not the norm. We have to be ultra careful. So I'm not completely comfortable, but we have to toe the line. We have to try and keep playing, but safety must come first. And I think this is a real. There are lots of moving parts and things that are changing day by day, week by week, and I think that's just how we have to look at it.
Moose.
Hi Frank, how are you?
Hi, good, thanks, Moose, good.
Can I ask you what you made of Sean Dyche's comments yesterday about the vaccine, and maybe to keep football going and to save some money just because of testing, that footballers maybe should be bumped up the list in terms of when they get the vaccine?
Well, firstly, I think I want to give Sean some credit here, because I think that the way you've said that comment, I saw his comments, could come across very badly. And as I listened to Sean and thought he was pretty clear about it, I think he said it with all the right reasoning. From the point of view, I've just been talking about lockdown happening in the country, but lockdown's not happening in football. So some people say, well, why not, and all these things. Now, if players and staff, we have 85 people in our bubble when you include the young academy players, and as I say, some staff who are of different ages, different healths, different families, different situations. So I understand that we are in very difficult times. In terms of the vaccine, I think my personal opinion, where we are so early in this process, and I do listen and I do read and I do watch the news, I think it's so important that we absolutely prioritise, as the government are doing, people that are in vulnerable situations, to get the vaccine first. I think that has to come first and foremost. Morally, I think it has to. Practically, I think it has to. And there may be a time down the line where we look at sports, but I don't think it's that time right now, personally. But I absolutely understand, and I think it's important that people are not scared to stand up and say something which they think. And I think, well, Sean's not that type of person, but I think it's a valuable debate. My opinion is it shouldn't happen now.
Can I talk some football with you as well?
Yes, please, yeah.
Okay, first question. I was at Chelsea 2, Bradford 4 in the FA Cup, which I think is probably one of the biggest shocks I've ever seen personally. And I remember, although you didn't play, you were part of the Chelsea team that lost 1-0 at Barnsley in 2008. So Sunday's not a foregone conclusion, is it, Frank?
No, it certainly isn't. And if you remember how that season ended against Bradford for Chelsea when they lost that game, all Chelsea fans do. So no matter form, no matter team, no matter status, the FA Cup has a magic that's been there forever, which means that underdogs will turn up, will try and win, will make things difficult for you. And considering our current form, of course, we have to be even more on guard and worry about ourselves and get ourselves playing well. Because if we play well and we do our job right, then we will win the game, I believe. But we have to respect Morecambe and respect the FA Cup.
And one last one from me. I mean, you maybe are under a little bit of pressure because of the results recently. You can decide whether you are or not, rather than me. But in terms of some of your players, like Timo Werner needs a goal. So is your consideration, if I play him against Morecambe, really someone of that calibre should score so he'll get his confidence back? Or is your consideration he maybe needs a rest to get his confidence back, to take him out of the firing line? How many big decisions have you got to make?
Well, to be honest, Moose, with a squad of 20 plus, a big squad of players, I have those decisions every week in different ways. So without isolating, you mentioned Timo as an example, but without isolating one player, I'm always thinking of form and fitness and what it means for the group and what it means for the individual, and that's part of my job. So I understand the point. I will take a view with Morecambe. Firstly, can we win the game? First and foremost. Secondly, are there players that need a rest? Are there players that need minutes? Are there players that need confidence? Because confidence has been hit with a difficult patch you've had recently. So I'll kind of try and balance that out through the team, but I'll pick a team to try and win the game.
John Southall, 5-1.
Thank you.
Hi Frank. Hi Frank.
Hi John. Hi.
Just talking about the confidence of the players, have you noticed a difference at all in them around the training ground? Has their confidence been hit, do you think, by what's happened over the last month or so?
I think it's normal that in a difficult time, football relies so much on confidence individually and collectively. And the easy times are when confidence is flowing. 16 games unbeaten, coming out of Leeds, everyone is fine, everyone is happy, people move the ball well, pressure doesn't affect them on the pitch, they receive it and move it well. And it doesn't take long sometimes for that to change. That's top level football. So I'm not surprised to see some moments like that in game, in training. And of course, then players become, they need a lift. That's my job, that's the staff's job, that's their job, because there's only way out of a dip in confidence, and that's to work hard. I don't know any other way out of a lack of confidence than to sprint your way out of it and fight your way out of it, because those are the rules of football. So you shouldn't be in this game unless you understand those moments come, and the players know that. I've been very clear with them on that, and that's where our challenge is.
And just 2 points on that. Does it make your job harder? Because obviously when you're winning, it's presumably easier to keep everybody happy, but when you're not, maybe not so easy. And how does it affect you? Are you a kind of person who can just put the pressure to one side and kind of ignore it, or does it get to you as well?
I think on the first point, when you have a squad as big as we do, it means I probably have more non-starters than I have starters every game in our squad, and it's only human nature that players find that tough. I found it tough when I didn't play. When you have so many, it means that you're asking probably for something a bit impossible if you ask for them to have a happy face and give everything every day and work through the week and not turn up for the business end. I think anyone in any job would say the same. You wouldn't turn up if you did your research all week and then someone took this interview away from you or a piece, or you didn't go to the game. I think that's really normal. So that's always a challenge, and I think in difficult times those challenges are always heightened for me and for the players. So that's something that we need to, if there is a little bit of edge around those times, good. Let there be edge. Let people show that they deserve to be in the team, train the right way, act the right way, and get in the team and stay in the team. So that's part and parcel of having a squad. In terms of myself, I have to say I came into this job to expecting pressure, and I have to say that my personality means that I'm weirdly quite strange. Probably you probably have to be to do this job at times, but when things are going well, I put more pressure on myself because I don't like things going well, because I worry what's around the corner. I worried about complacency. With the unbeaten run, I was constantly under pressure myself about people telling me how great we were. Now I find this more challenging in a good way in terms of my job, because I can find out more about myself. I can find out more about every member of the team, every member of the staff, and it actually makes my job more exciting. Now, of course, I understand the pressure heightens because I understand the expectations of a club like this, but I love doing what I'm doing, and I never expected an easy run in this job. I've come to a huge club in Premier League and world football in the process of a rebuild. That was never going to be an easy run, so I have to expect these situations.
Okay, last two in this section, Nick Jewell and then disaster finish. Nick.
Frank, you say about that, that you find it more exciting. If you can sort of project that energy to your players, that will help as well, won't it, to sort of carry through a difficult time. And just on Andreas's injury, good news then that if it's not a serious one, because obviously, and also he got perhaps a little bit of unfair stick, did he, for the, because am I right in thinking that the injury was from the challenge again in the Villa game, and he obviously did have an injury. He wasn't just staying down for the sake of it or anything like that.
Yeah, I'll put that right straight away. The injury was absolutely from that moment in the Villa game, and it was probably typical modern day reactions where Andreas takes stick. He's been out, he's injured. The injury isn't too bad, which is the good news for him. So he'll be back training with us tomorrow. And then the first part of the question, I mean, yeah, it's my job to be like that. I have experience of. I don't think there was a season that I played at this club, for all the success we had over the years, where we didn't have difficult moments and meetings and a defeat or a double defeat or whatever, a run of patch, a bad month, a bad period. It's part and parcel of being a player. So I'm the first one that has to be positive and get excited about losing games is the biggest chance to improve in football. So it's the biggest chance to get better. And when you're a squad that's growing and young and new and players that are coming in, those are the moments that test them and make them better players. I can't sit here and say I have absolute belief that Kai Havertz and Timo Werner and Christian Pulisic are going to be top level players as they reach and arrive in their prime of their careers. If I say that it's going to be an easy run for them, it's impossible in football. So I have to be the one that states that to them, keeps their chin up, keeps them working, understand the reactions needed in tough moments. And then the rest is down to them, because players will always be the ones that get you out of those moments. They have to go and perform.
Last question is off.
Hi Frank, am I right in thinking there's 5 academy players who've sort of stepped up into the bubble? I just wanted to talk about them really and see what they brought to training and what excites you about about them and their abilities and the potential for them to play. Maybe going through each one who's been called up.
Yeah, I mean, we've called up both Tinos. We've called up Jude, who's been scoring goals in the youth team. We've called up Lou Bate, who's trained with us before. We've called up Henry Lawrence. Sorry if I'm missing any, but they've been training with us all week. It's great experience for them. It's something that I wanted to do and was able to do last year at the club pre-restart. It helps training because for me it's really important to have competitive training, and having young numbers allows you to be really competitive without killing the players physically in between games. We've had a long week and they've been able to really help there, and they've also shown their qualities and come in, and it's always great to gauge young players, not only how quickly they take to the football side of training, but how quickly their personalities take to the uplift in pressure and level in training. It's something that I've always believed passionately about for the club, and I've seen a lot out of all of those players that have come to train with us, that they're real potential for us. There's lots of steps for them in all their different ways, but I've been really pleased to be able to do it because it's good. It's good for the older players because they see the younger players can speak to them and help them. It's good for the younger players to see what they can aspire to.
Got used to rather tense Champions League group stages, certainly since winning it. Kanté's cross in for Giroud! Hat-trick! French connection!
It's a great hat-trick from Olivier Giroud.
Werner has got the pace here to get away from Dallas now, then he deserves a goal. He's been excellent, wants to put it on a play, taken brilliantly. Pulisic slides in, Chelsea lead by 3-1.
It's his pace that takes him away. Pulisic stays with him, gets himself near post, and it looks like a simple tap-in.
It's always an unenviable task for Benfica coming here, but they've hardly touched the ball. And it might be about to get worse for them. What a pass from Guro Reiter for Sam Kerr, who pays it the compliment it deserved. And Chelsea finally get the second goal of the evening. Look at that from Reiter, magnificent. Seems about. Great feet, can he get the shot off? Oh yes he can. His first PL2 start. And Jude Soon-Sup-Bell marks it with a goal. We've only played for 3 minutes. Coming infield to find Giroud. Nice flick off from him to Pulisic. Now here's Chilwell and Giroud's header. What a brilliantly worked goal from Chelsea. Olivier Giroud against Aston Villa again. 10 in 10 for him against the Villains now. And the Blues with the breakthrough just after the half hour.
Now Lampard and Bridge. Chelsea building something. Just waiting for the gap to come, and Kalous found it. He's got round Regan. Good ball in as well. Lampard! 1-0. Really worked goal. Great passing all around. Bridge, Cole, all involved. Solomon Kalou gave the defender the slip, and Chelsea are 1-up.
Well, you talked about earlier Didier Drogba missing, who'd step up to the mark. Always Frank Lampard's involved in that equation. Here he is again.
Swales looking long towards McNeil. The flick on's quite a good one. John Murphy has got the better of Carvalho here. Murphy has scored. The shock is back on at the Bridge. Macclesfield Town have equalised. Ricardo Carvalho slipped, and Murphy has put it, I think, through Hilario's leg. Maybe a chance for an instant response with Lampard. There is the instant response. The captain's done it again.
Well, I have to say, the Macclesfield fans haven't even sat down from celebrating the goal. A simple ball played forward. They didn't defend it very well. They looked a little bit nervy. It fell again to Frank Lampard, cut in field, and a quality finish with his left foot.
Not happy at the moment, though, if they concede another one here. Shevchenko just into the feet of Wright Phillips. He's done really well. And Shevchenko's in here. He's round the keeper. It has to be a penalty. Oh, it is a red card. We're just about ready. There's Lee Mason's whistle. Here's Frank Lampard. Oh, I tell you what, David Morley nearly got to that one.
Well, he looked as though he actually went through his legs and under his arms. I can't say that he went in the right way.
Lampard whips one in. It's a tidy one too. And it's a fourth goal for Chelsea. The flag stays down. Sean Wright Phillips has Chelsea's fourth, and that really does wrap it up. Possession given away again, though. Here's Bridge. Options arriving in the box. It's towards Sahar and Shevchenko. And out as far as Mikel. Oh, how about that? The fifth goal, and it's the best of the bunch.
It falls to the edge of the box, and he actually it was outside of his right foot here. I mean, he could have hit a lot. I mean, it goes in like an arrow.
Carvalho. Right, Phillips, another chance to cross. Morley saves with his legs. Here's Carvalho, and it's 6 from the number 6, who has been all over the pitch today. And he has fully deserved that goal. David Morley, who'll remember this afternoon for all sorts of reasons, with the long punt upfield, and Macclesfield misery is over. Paul Ince and Jose Mourinho can shake hands. It's a decent match in the first half. Chelsea led 2-1 at the break, but it turned into a bit of a stroll in the end for the Blues. 2-1 up at the break. The game was effectively over, Tommy, when Tommy Lee was sent off. Frank Lampard made it a hat-trick for him with the resulting penalty. Macclesfield ended up with 9 men, and the result was never in doubt from that moment.
It's the first ever meeting between Chelsea and Morecambe today. It's a big afternoon for the League Two side who are looking for an upset. Frank Lampard has never been beaten at this stage of the FA Cup in his entire career, and this is the team that he has selected for today. Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, captain Cesar Azpilicueta, Antonio Rudiger, Kurt Zouma and Emerson make up the back four. Billy Gilmour starts in midfield alongside Kai Havertz and Mason Mount. Hakim Ziyech, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Timo Werner up front. He's gone strong. We've already had a little bit of magic. My internet has decided to start working again, so that's good. Good work all round. Well done, everyone. Let's start with our one to watch for this afternoon then, which is Billy Gilmour. I mean, we've spoken a lot about Billy in the past, but it's lovely to see him in the first team again and starting games. Jace, the impact that he had when he came into the side last year, I suppose that's the heights that we hope that he can replicate now.
Absolutely. He was excellent when he came in against Liverpool. Man of the match performance in what was a very difficult midfield to impose yourself on, and he was outstanding. And no doubt he is going to be a super talent. I was at the KP Stadium as King Power when we played against Leicester. He had a very, very difficult start to that game. I don't know if you remember, that was in the FA Cup. as well. So there's a lot to learn, but what do we do know about him? Brilliant on the ball, great eye for a pass, tenacious, can happily receive it in tight areas, can dominate from that area, can really set up attacks. Great link between the back and the midfield area. Sorry, the back line and the front boys through the midfield. He's got such a lovely manner and a balance about the way he plays as well. So really looking forward to seeing him. He's been desperately unlucky with injuries as well.
Abby's a fan favourite, and we've seen plenty of players graduate from the Chelsea Academy, and since he's done that, fans love seeing Billy Gilmour in the starting lineup. They love his personality, they love the way he plays football, and it's always a pleasure to see him play, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. You can tell that he just loves Chelsea and he always puts in a great performance. I should shout out some people in the app that are bigging him up. There was a few, so I'll keep it short. Dirkest just saying, what a talented, well-spirited young man, which I thought was really nice. His attitude is just so crucial to him as a player, isn't it? Paul G, as fans, we're so excited by his potential. Shine on, Gilmour. Come on. Dave T just said he has more enthusiasm, energy and flair to our team, which I totally agree with. He's so gifted skill-wise as well, isn't he? He's got pace. He's kind of got it all, and I'm really excited to watch him shine tonight.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. Well, I mean, it could be any time, couldn't it? It could be any time, really, couldn't it? Could be any time. Ask my Zoom, it hasn't got a clue. We have got loads coming up today, and obviously we do love the FA Cup, don't we? We've got so many great memories from it. So let's have a look back at our 10 favourite goals in the FA Cup.
Here is Ryan Bertrand. Loose ball drops for Oscar, who brought it down beautifully. Oscar! Oh, fantastic goal! A moment of individual genius.
Really does look lively, Walker. Driving Lampard! Oh, goal! Clements puts his head in his hands, and Clive Walker has scored for Chelsea. Still he goes, and he's got a pretty tough left foot, is Houseman. Still he goes on, and a goal by Houseman! 3-1.
Here's Wise. Chelsea beginning to find more room as Wimbledon push forward, so that when Chelsea come out, they're on the counter and there's a bit more space for them to operate. Di Matteo, lovely turn from Zola. Oh, terrific stuff! And what a goal! What a goal from Gianfranco Zola. The little man at times is quite incredible.
Shevchenko back onto his favourite left foot. Oh! Andrei Shevchenko with one out of the top draw.
Di Matteo. Now Hughes making an angle run ahead of him and open up some space. And a goal! Oh, fantastic stuff! Roberto Di Matteo.
Great take from Hazard, and he's helped it on. Here's the chance for Giroud. He's dribbled it through. It's absolutely brilliant. Olivier Giroud in front of the Chelsea fans.
Oh yes, Gianfranco Zola.
Free kick.
Oh, what a goal!
Well, it's beyond doubt now. That is a stunner. Where's he pulled that from?
Fabregas. Great run from Fabregas. Onside, got it back to Hazard. Costa almost took it off his toe. Matic will have a thumb. Oh my word! What a goal from Nemanja Matic to send Chelsea to the FA Cup final.
so many amazing goals over the years through the FA Cup. I mean, we were just talking about Didier Drogba, the fact that he could have had his own complete collection, the amount of goals he scored in finals. FA Cup finals, he scored the free kick in the final against Portsmouth. What a goal that was. And I was watching this on the Chelsea YouTube yesterday of the 07 final, right? You can go and watch the video now. It's amazing. Didier Drogba's flick finish over the top of Van der Sar in goal. There's Ben Andrews doing the commentary, which is amazing. And all you can hear is Jason Cundy screaming and celebrating in the background. Jay, what a day and what a goal.
Yeah, and it was a pig of a game. I don't know whether you remember much about it. It was in extra time. The 90 minutes was dreadful. The extra time was poor. Ryan Giggs had a chance in the first half of extra time, I think it was, and it literally, he missed it by millimetres. It was so tight. And the game was such a game of, it was towards the end of the game, actually. And it was a game of such few chances that when the opportunity comes, there's a 1-2 with Frank. It gets him beyond Rio and flicks it over. And it was the relief that I'd sat through such a pig of a game that we managed to get the first goal in it. And yeah, poor old Ben that day was squashed. Credit to him, the professional that he is. He was fighting me off with one arm, but doing the commentary with the other. So well done. But yeah, not the greatest game, but I'll remember it for that moment alone with poor old Ben being squashed by me.
I would recommend going and watch it. It's on Chelsea's YouTube channel, yeah, because all you can hear is Jason Cundy celebrating and shouting and just getting far too carried away and excited. That's why we love you, Jay. But also, you can hear Ben that's having to still focus on what's going on. Ultimate professional. Great work, Ben. Great work. Well, actually, it could tie into this, actually, because it's our hot topic 3 for today, which is what made me fall in love with Chelsea. Now, this was, we've seen this. This is a question that we all ask, I suppose, and one of the first things that you get asked when people ask why you support Chelsea. So Dan, what was it? Was it a player? Was it a moment? Was it a time? The stadium? What was it?
I think I had a choice. My dad supports Chelsea, and as long as I can remember, Chelsea have just been, everything that mattered to me. So, when I was born, I probably asked when's the game, when's the next match. So I literally. I breathed Chelsea throughout my entire childhood, but there was one year in particular that I remember where I think we beat Liverpool 4-2, but we were 2-0 down at half time. And I remember just being young and just for the first time in my life, just being just angry at half time, like really angry, and I think Zola and Hughes brought it back, and that was the beginning of it. And I remember there was a game in the snow against FC Tromsø, and that was a game I remember watching it, just thinking, "Wow, it looks like Christmas." I loved that as well. And then Roberto Di Matteo FA Cup final, 47 seconds, I think it was. That sealed it for me. That at that point, I knew that this is they've got full governance over my life forever now.
I love that. 2 things we learned in there. Firstly, the birthplace of Savage Dan when you got angry at the first Chelsea game. Lovely little bookmark in there. And also, in fact, you said all that matters to me. You do have 2 children, don't you, Dan?
It doesn't compare, when you win the Champions League. There's not much that can trump that.
Fantastic work, mate. I'll leave you. Definitely gonna be a doghouse later. That's fine. Abby, what about you?
I'm the same as Dan in that my dad's a massive Chelsea fan, so he's kind of who got me into them in the first place. But the first player I remember just being completely and utterly obsessed with is Zola, and I still think for me he's just the greatest Chelsea player of all time. I mean, just what a player! He's someone that was just so magic, wasn't he? Just so talented and just audacious finishes. I mean, he's someone that even now I'll still go and watch like his goal montages and stuff, just because he's just world class.
Complete magic is the exact definition, isn't it, Abby? Like he was absolutely magic. Jay, I mean, I'm interested for you, mate, because obviously having played for the club, having worked for the club, and supported the club as a boy, I suppose less what made you fall in love with Chelsea, but what exaggerated that, because you've had so many different avenues into falling in love with a football club. I'm really interested with how it come about for you.
Oh, well, it comes from my dad. My dad was a Chelsea fan, used to go and stand in the shed. In fact, he stood my mum up from their first date to go and watch Chelsea play. And she never lets him forget it. But, I came there. I'm a little bit older than you guys. And my first game here was in 1976. For my 7th birthday, I still remember climbing the steps of this very stand. It was a night game. And, of course, it looked very, very different. But I remember climbing the steps just down there, and to coming up as a 7-year-old and seeing the pitch. And it was enormous. It's still huge now, but as a little 7-year-old coming up and I can still remember the feeling of just looking at that Stamford Bridge turf under floodlights, November 1976. And Ray Wilkins was skipper on the day, and McCready was manager. So yes, that's how far back it goes. And I was a fan before, but wow, that moment of just climbing the steps and seeing the pitch, I can still close my eyes and see it now.
It's amazing. That's amazing. I love the fact that first time you see Stamford Bridge as well. I mean, I used to sit in the front row, like the family stand and the East Stand lower. So for the first 3 or 4 years of me going, I didn't think we had a left back. I couldn't see over the pitch. I couldn't see that far away. I thought we're only playing with 7 men. I couldn't see that far ahead. But it's just every time, the first time you see Stamford Bridge, that's definitely one. I'm sure that's a very common theme on our Twitter. You can have a go on that, by the way, if you get involved in the chat on the Fifth Stand app as well. Right, we are reaping the rewards, of course, of an amazing academy setup at the moment. The likes of Mason Mount, Reece James, Tammy Abraham, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Billy Gilmour as well, all regulars in the first team now. That production line shows no sign of stopping either. Let's take a closer look at 2 of our stars. One involved today, Tino Werner and Lewis Bate as well.
With the FA Cup this weekend, it gives Frank a chance to look at some of the players following the footsteps of James, Mount, Gilmour and Abraham in the shape of Tino Werner and Lewis Bate. Let's look at Tino first. We've already seen him in the first team. He's made his Premier League debut, his League Cup debut and his Champions League debut. First thing we notice is his size. Physically, he's a big lad, got an eye for a pass. Tammy can't quite get on the end of that one. But the thing that strikes me most is how he runs at defenders, runs at midfielders and sees a space and goes for it. Lovely little 1 and 2 touch pass on the edge of the box. Doesn't quite get there on this occasion. Gets on the half turn again, driving at the heart of their midfield. Setting up attacks. And not only that, he goes and joins it and gets himself a goal. A really exciting prospect there. Also, it's another young lad that's followed him through the England youth team setups as well, is Lewis Bate. Little defensive midfielder that can get forward. Got an eye for a pass, lovely little left foot, nice balance in the shape of Billy Gilmour, a very, very similar forward-thinking player. Gets himself in nice areas as well where he attacks. Beautiful way to pass there, setting him behind the defence, winning a penalty on that occasion. But in the role that he plays in the midfield, he's not afraid to dig either. Puts himself into a challenge, not afraid of that, but gets on his feet. Lovely balance, nice pass there, setting up another attack. We also like to see this lovely eye for a goal, beautifully struck. Hopefully we'll see them feature in the game this weekend in the FA Cup.
I mean, the academy definitely shows no sign of slow. Let's talk about Tino Werner first then, Jay, because you've done a little bit of analysis on there. Obviously, Tino came on against Krasnodar earlier in the season. We've seen him, I think, last year against Everton in the Premier League as well. He's made a couple of substitute and bench appearances for Chelsea. He's on the bench again today, but a perennial winner in terms of PL2 success and what he's doing in the development squad. He looks like a real talent.
He does. The first thing I noticed is his stature, his size, the physicality of the boy, and he's going to get bigger, obviously stronger, and grow into that body and how he deals with it. Reminds me a lot of Ruben on the ball, the way he travels with the ball, just the position he picks up, the way that he attacks the midfield and tries to drive it at the back line. Eye for a pass. Physically, he's big, as I've already highlighted, good in the air. There's so many attributes that he's got at his disposal, and it's just going to get better and better. But the biggest compliment I can pay him is the games I've seen him play in the first team. He doesn't look out of place. You know, looks comfortable in that, and so we're really looking forward to seeing how he develops.
100% right. And I suppose the reason he's not playing today, Dan, is probably because Hakim Ziyech starts. You know, he may have been sort of eyeing up one of those wides of the front free bursts. But yeah, Hakim Ziyech starts today. What a player! You know, it's important to get minutes because he's had little knocks here and there. He's had injuries this season, so today's a big opportunity for him to get more minutes in the bank. And also, you know, Frank will be looking to see, I suppose, and test him to see how fit and ready he is for the rest of the Premier League.
Yeah, before he got injured, he was in flying form. That was the point of the season where we went on our unbeaten run, scoring lots of goals, and he seemed to have a hand in pretty much everything that was being created by us. So he was a huge miss when he did get injured again. And I think that's part of the reason why he's playing today. You know, we want to be able to get Hakim back to where he was, and fit and ready, and because of that, he plays against Morecambe, and I feel sorry for the left back of Morecambe, because I don't think he's going to know what's hit him today.
It's going to be a busy afternoon for the Morecambe defenders, Abby, especially with Timo Werner and Kai Havertz starting as well.
Yeah, poor Morecambe. They're not going to know what's hit them, have they? They come here feeling confident. Oh, we're at Stamford Bridge. We're going to give it a go. And then, these world-class players coming at them. But, it's going to be an interesting match, I think.
Very much looking forward to it. That is all from us for now. Thank you for joining us. But before we join our commentary team, we caught up with Frank to get his thoughts ahead of today's game.
What does this week look like, Frank, following that Manchester City game?
Well, the benefits of the week after the game, because it was a disappointing game. We didn't play well. We got beaten by the better team on the day, and that can happen against a team the level of Manchester City. So the players, we gave some time off to. They needed a rest because of the schedule over Christmas, and sometimes after defeat it's good to get away and see their families. But as staff, we started planning straight away for what the week would look like, because we haven't had a lot of time to work with the players this season. We missed pre-season. We haven't had nice longer weeks. This week we played Sunday to Sunday, meant that there have been good working days. So I felt that the level of intensity in training has to go up another notch because of the results recently. We need to fight our way out of that, and it's given us a great chance in the last few days to get the players working really hard, and they are. They've been very competitive, they've been very positive. That starts from me and the staff, but the players are doing that, and I want to see their reaction on the pitch.
And a chance to focus on the FA Cup this weekend, a competition that's always meant so much to this club, and I guess to you personally as well.
Yeah, always fortunate enough to win it regularly, well, relatively regularly, as teams win it as we did at Chelsea in my time playing. Always loved it, always loved the Wembley outings, of course more so when fans were there, but special nights all the way through to some of those finals that we got to. And it just ramps up a level of competitiveness, and even without fans, the game for us against Morecambe is one we have to show full respect to them, understand that they will raise their game, and understand that it's a competition we want to go far in a game. We were very close last year, I think unlucky for different reasons in the final. We want to get back there again.
How difficult is it to prepare, Frank, for a team like Morecambe, who have come off the back of a 10-day isolation period themselves?
Well, to be honest, Lee, it's difficult in a way. They play in a different league to us. Obviously, when you play in the Premier League, you have a more awareness of your opponent generally. Of course, you study them more when you play them. But with Morecambe, I've watched some of them. But I think this week, and considering that we've had our difficult patch in the last few games, is that we have to concentrate on ourselves. It's about what we do on Sunday. It's about making sure that we approach the game in the right way and do the right basics. So that's kind of the angle I've taken on this game. It's what we do and the reaction through the week. I've just spoken about the training that they've done. The lads have been spot on with training. We need to take that into the game.
You've also spoken about the young players that have stepped up from the academy and joined the bubble this week. Is this a fantastic opportunity for them? And I guess you have to couple that with giving players that maybe haven't played as many minutes as you'd have liked so far this season.
Yeah, I think with the young players, it's really helpful. It's something that I would have done a lot before the bubble and before COVID, is bring over the academy players to let them feel the senior team, to let them find their way through. But it also really helps training practically to have extra numbers for the players to play against for the session. So it's been helpful to have them back for training, for my planning of training, but also helpful for those young lads. And it's always a huge step to come over here, and it's great to see how they react, great to see how they train, how they react personally, interact with the players. So it's been a real positive of the week.
I wanted to ask you about a specific young player, Billy Gilmour, who came on and showed his personality again, didn't he, in that game against Manchester City. How pleased have you been with the development from his side since he's come back from that injury?
Been delighted with him. His attitude in rehab was kind of what I expected, but it was great to see. Did everything right, got himself fit, came straight back in. Against Krasnodar, I thought he was fantastic. Against Manchester City, a really difficult game to come into, showed personality and quality. And so I'm delighted to have him ready to go. And Billy's going to be a huge player for this club. He's young, so we, like the youth in this squad, I talk about a lot. We need to give them some time, but at the same time, his talent is huge. So really pleased to have him where he's at.
Quick word on the FA Cup third round. Chelsea's record over the last 22 years has been pretty exemplary, to be honest with you. Obviously, we want to look to that continuing this week. And what are your memories of playing in the FA Cup third round in years gone by?
Well, yeah, we, as you say, we had pretty good times. We generally got through, and sometimes you draw lower league opponents. Can be difficult, can be challenging in different ways, but you have to do the job right. I remember we played at Macclesfield in one of my must have been 2005, 2006 sort of period. And Jose Mourinho was the manager. He actually gave me about 4 days off in the week, said go away, you're not going to play this game, have a rest. And then I started to relax for 3 days or so. He called me on Friday afternoon and told me that I need to play. So I'd actually gone to the countryside for a couple of days, drove back, turned up at the hotel in the morning, started the game and scored a hat-trick. I was very pleased come the evening that I'd racked up a few goals on my list. As we beat them, I think 6-1 or something it was at the time. So yeah, it was a game, not ideal preparation, 4 days in the countryside with your feet up, probably eating too much, but I managed to turn it around, and it was a nice memory from those early stages of the Cup.